welcome to the Max is a podcast.
That is stating. Yes, it's another episode of Max Verstappen's dodgy driving standards review, I guess.
Hey, that's why this is a fan podcast and we're not in our work mode or journalistic mode because that's why we can say what we want, and I would agree.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think he's the best driver on the grid, the best driver in a generation, a deserving champion, but he's got this hard edge that really makes it hard to like him.
yeah, definitely. He's one of those people that if he didn't have that, he wouldn't be the driver and champion that he is. Probably
Correct. Yeah.
it helps, but yeah, it makes it impossible to like him sometimes.
Incident is a permanent stain in his reputation. I think
Hmm.
a Michael Schumacher way, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix. Coming from Catalonia last weekend. And of course, all the news afterwards was dominated by Max Verstappen, as you've just heard, we're not big fans of at the moment. So, if you're a Max Verstappen fanboy, this probably isn't the episode for you. Well, I'll let you know what's a secret. I'm not a big fan of George Russell either. So we'll just put that aside. There's
yeah,
no British bias here. This perspective, there's just someone has been a
Nearly
so
apologised.
uh,
yeah. Kind of didn't.
came close to it.
Yeah.
For Max, that was a big apology.
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll actually talk. People will know what we're speaking about, but we'll actually go through the race then.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be the weekend where the grid was going to be mixed up because there's new FIA front wing tests. So flexi wings are not going to be allowed anymore. Not that they really were. And everyone thought that's going to mix up the grid because it'll pull McLaren back, and then McLaren got further ahead.
Yeah, it was the disappointment in all the shake-up that was supposed to happen.
We were skeptical in the last podcast, though.
Hmm.
We said, will it do anything? We said, probably not. That
Yes.
proved to be correct. Oh, actually, though, has it helped Sauber?
Yeah, we'll have to see on that because presumably they have the least invested in that car because
Yeah.
they're thinking about next year.
They did have some updates at this race, did Sauber. So it could be multiple things. So hard to judge. It seems all just like a storm in a teacup.
Yeah. And so McLaren were fairly dominant through practice, and then into qualifying they took a 1-2 with Oscar Piastri 2 tenths ahead of Lando Norris.
Mm.
That's a stonking gap between your teammate for first and second. And then Max and George were inseparable in qualifying. They've done the exact same lap time for third and fourth.
Mm. Norris was actually, for once, not upset about qualifying second. Normally he beats himself up. He could have done better, but he said the pace was there. I just didn't do a good lap.
He's won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah,
Uh, the sheen will take a while to wear off.
yes, but I hope because that's his downfall with everything. But I hope this means that he can try and take a more positive attitude when things don't go his way.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it's a huge mistake or anything. He was just beaten.
Yeah.
What more can you say? What else happened in qualifying? Hamilton out-qualified Leclerc, but there were setup differences in those cars.
But
Mm.
also Leclerc didn't go out for a second run and save tyres for the race. But Hamilton still did it. But then obviously you see in the race that he, especially in the first phase, I think Leclerc had some better tyres.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Alpine got in the top 10 and Fernando Alonso got to 10th as well. Yuki Tsunoda was last.
Yeah.
This is the big story and it's just not getting a look in, I don't think. Obviously, I think with good reason because his teammates are biffing into people. But again, I think we've said it in the last couple of podcasts. He's actually not doing very well, and now no better than Lawson after several races in, and nothing will change. But just
I
makes me feel
think
worse for Lawson again.
I think people are just now kind of tired of the Red Bull second driver story because it's been what, 7 years?
Yeah. It is, isn't it? Is it Daniel Ricciardo, last
Daniel
person to be
Ricciardo
able
was,
to challenge him?
yeah, you're right, it was Daniel. So everything that's happened since then, it's just an endless rinse and repeat.
Hmm.
Now the sacking happened quite early this year. What was it, 2 or 3 rounds?
Two, I think,
Um,
wasn't
Yeah, just two races. So that was just far too premature, considering then the other driver's just as bad.
Yeah. And Lawson isn't exactly flourishing either in the racing bull.
Well, I've got a
So
point about that. I think he actually had a really good race here. He was just marred by the safety car at the end.
that Red Bull seats want to keep an eye on, but they're still adamant they're not making another change, which,
Hmm.
Well, they might
eh,
have to make a change soon.
Yeah, we'll come to
Oh, sorry,
that.
sorry.
yes. And Franco Colapinto was second last. That's not working
Yes.
either, is it?
Another driver change that's unwarranted, in my opinion.
Yes, definitely. And the thing is, it just puts pressure on Colapinto,
Yeah,
because now he's
nobody
like,
wins.
oh, I have to be better than Doohan was to keep my seat. So, yeah, I don't
He's
see the point all round.
he's doing worse than Doon. Doon was
Yeah,
getting better.
he's doing worse. Sorry.
He,
Also on that, I think when it was first announced in the press release, Alpine said and attributed a quote to Briatore. Yeah, he's got Franco Colapinto's got 5 races, and then apparently a very strange press conference pre the Spanish Grand Prix. He
Hmm.
said, "No, no, no, I didn't say that."
Yes, he also did to say the same before Monaco as well.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
it's there in black and white.
uh-huh. Do we trust anything Flavio says?
No.
no. But Franco needs to get his finger out or he'll be gone. He'll be gone.
Uh-huh.
There was apparently a
Remember,
weird moment in the press conference where someone asked Briatore a question. He went, "No, no, 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 I don't know, I don't know. Maybe you should ask him." Pointed at Christian Horner, and Horner just went,
Yes,
"I have no idea what you're talking about."
yes,
so
it says a lot, doesn't it, when you have a press conference where Christian Horner looks good?
yeah, yeah. Apparently it was him that was pushing for these front wing tests. So
So, yeah, supposedly so.
good for him. It's clearly worked. Right, on to the race then. And it was a stonking start from Oscar Piastri to retain the lead from the Max Verstappen, who managed to get Norris into turn one. And then Lewis Hamilton pulled out a bit of magic going outside of George Russell, which is
Mm.
very impressive. The big winner, though, at the start was Nico Hulkenberg, who gained quite a few positions by skipping the corner, which he had to because there was contact with, I think it's a racing bull on his inside.
Hmm.
When then he went left, hitting the Albon. Albon got front wing damage, but he managed to gain a few positions, which really helped his race.
Yeah, nearly got attacked by his teammate who did the same thing right in front of him.
Yes.
But they managed to pan out. Yeah, I don't like the fact that you can make positions up like that, but that's what the rules are. So he didn't break any rules. As long as you go into the escape road, you can do that. But yeah, just the escape road is not penalty enough for cutting that corner.
Bring back the sausage curbs across there.
Yes.
We'll start launching cars again.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. It's weird. It's weird that you can cut a corner, even though you're forced there and gain positions. Bizarre.
Mm.
Um, Alonso and Hadjar had a really good fight throughout this
Yes.
part.
Yeah, which I thought amazing for Alonso. Like fighting, he tried to get past and then was it? Hadjar tried to go around the outside of him towards the end of the lap. Alonso tried fighting, and I think he lost a lot of momentum then. Then Hulkenberg immediately got him. I think that's
Yeah.
correct, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And also, you just obviously Hulkenberg gained positions off the track at the first corner, but also Bortoleto left the door wide open. Is it called? Well, I think might be called Seat, but whatever the max corner. If you look at the first lap,
Now I know what
Hulkenberg's
you
not even
mean.
making a move, and it's also Gabriel just sort of going through after you, and then with the Alonso racing losing him time, then he jumps up again.
yeah. Alonso gets it back immediately though, or he tries to get it back immediately down is it turn four, three,
Oh yeah, that's his
or
Yeah.
one of
his
his.
move.
He's on the outside. He tries to get it, which Alonso was a man possessed in this race.
Yes.
Yeah, for better and worse.
Yeah,
Yes.
because a couple of laps later he locks up and puts himself in the gravel.
What a
He
mistake
gets
that
it.
was.
He gets it going though, and but he loses I think one position at that point. So
Oh, also, if you watch the onboard, he just comes straight back on, and Lawson's there.
yeah,
It's pretty dangerous. No, I think he might have lost a couple. Anyway, he lost a lot of time, and actually, I think in the end he
Mm.
finished in the points, didn't he? So he's got his first points finish of the season,
Yeah.
and after the race, he said something now. Oh, the next press conference, I won't get that question again.
Hmm.
We finished ninth, but really, if without a mistake, he could have been up there with Hadjar and Gasly, maybe ahead of one of them.
Hmm. And it is very unusual to see Alonso make those kind of mistakes.
Very much so. But he's not under pressure in terms of his teammate just isn't. Even though Stroll scored a lot of points, it's all through like circumstance and strategy, not pace.
Mm.
And actually, we should mention Stroll at this point.
I forgot
As
about
he
him.
Yeah.
wasn't in the race.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, isn't it? Because yeah, we just forgot about him because he didn't take part in the race at all, and because he took part in qualifying, no one else could step in the car for him.
Yeah, he qualified 14th, didn't start because of his wrists, which I think he broke start of the last season or 2 seasons
Uh,
ago.
23.
Yeah, so he broke both his wrists, didn't he?
Hmm.
And he struggled with them, causing them pain. And speaking of someone who broke their wrist 2 years ago, it still hurts every day. So,
Yeah,
and I'm not wrestling an F1 car, so he's taking some time off to get that fixed. I think he's due to be back for the Canadian Grand Prix, isn't he?
I believe so, but it's possible he could be substituted for.
The unsubstantiated paddock gossip was that he got out of the car, was annoyed with qualifying 14th, started shouting and screaming and hurt his wrist.
Yeah, from
But I
what
don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
no, from what people have said, it appears to be yes, he had he had a bad temper tantrum when he got out of the car, but that's not what caused the problem. And it could well be the temper tantrum was caused by the fact that he was in pain as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
to
Yeah,
be
he
fair.
missed the way thing, didn't he?
He did because he went to the doctors or the track doctors to see about getting something done.
The only thing here is if it was hurting through the weekend, it would have been nice for him to not qualify. But maybe it got worse in qualifying. So we don't know. We just
Well, yeah,
don't know. And we don't
thing
have to
is,
know.
if because apparently this has been troubling him for 6 weeks.
Oh, there. All right. Mm.
So it kind of you feel like then maybe get a reserve driver in and let them do FP1.
Drogovic.
Yeah.
Drogovic.
And then Stroll can do the rest of it, do the qualifying, and then if he can't make the race, the reserve driver can step in and start from the pit lane.
Yeah, plus get them to be up to speed. Not
Yeah.
even at that race weekend. If it's been going for 6 weeks, could have been last race. At least getting some seat time. So all a
Yeah,
bit strange. All a bit strange.
it
Yeah,
is.
but well, apparently Felipe Drugovich is driving out Le Mans the
Le
next
Mans.
round,
Le
but he's
Mans.
willing to drop out of that if the
Yes.
F1 seat becomes available in Canada.
If not, it's Bottas.
Yeah, because Stoffel's also at Le Mans, who is their other reserve driver.
Yep, get Valtteri back.
Yeah. Hashtag Bottas.
Apparently, he was
Bottas.
speaking to Red Bull.
Yes. Yeah,
He
that was an
can't do
interesting one.
worse than anyone else in that seat.
No, exactly.
I say give it a shot. Honestly, I'm not a Bottas fan in any way, shape, or form. For how many other years we've been doing podcasts and he was racing, I was like, he doesn't have the racecraft. He's always tepid
Mm.
and tentative. Uh, but at this point, give anything a shot.
At this point, Red Bull are guaranteed to finish fourth
Yeah.
unless Tsunoda has an upturn, and there's nothing to say Tsunoda's about to have an upturn.
Well,
So,
did you see that they have applied for an early super license exemption for, and I've got to say this correctly, is it Arvid Lindblad?
Lindblad, we'll
yep,
just go with Lindblad.
Yeah.
yep,
Um,
good F2 driver.
because he's currently 17, and so the rules state that he can't have a super license till he's 18, but the FIA can give an exemption to people who are considered worthy of it.
Oh, well, he's definitely good
Yes.
enough.
Yeah.
It's really hard to. I follow Formula 2 and Formula 3, but it's hard to pick out who's the actual talent sometimes because they've got so many
Hmm.
like reverse grid, long race, short race, different tire compounds, DRS. I wouldn't say he's a standout like, oh, the next Verstappen, though,
No,
at
but
this
we'll
Well,
stage.
have to see.
Yeah. And
he's
will he ruin his career by, oh, mind you, they're not promoting for Sonoda either. This is in case Max gets the points.
Yes.
yeah. So
Also,
he's
just
won.
looking that Drugovic, sorry, Colin, has got a pretty good Cadillac ride at Le Mans in the top class. So
Mm.
you never know. It could be. Remember when Hulkenberg won Le Mans? And it'd be really cool if Drugovic does.
Yeah. So Lindblad, the last time I seen him, he was driving an F1 car across the pitch at Leeds.
What?
Sounds like he's just
Yeah.
broken in.
Yeah. So he was racing a couple of the players sprinting like the length of the pitch. He was in an F1 car, and they were because they Red Bull, I think, own a chunk of Leeds now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I think they
RB
bought.
Leeds.
oh,
Yes.
they're the shirt sponsor, aren't they?
Well, I think they bought a share.
Oh yes, this is yesterday.
Ah, see, I missed this.
Oh yeah, there's the F1 car. Oh man, I live not
Yeah.
too far from there, and I didn't hear it. I wonder when they actually did it.
Red Bull own less than 10% of Leeds now.
As of 30th of May. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think they were due to buy more, but they didn't. So okay, yes. Aye, so both guys got past Russell, which then opened up an issue because Lewis was massively holding Leclerc up and eventually
Mm.
let him past. Hamilton was just slow in this race and he thought it was himself, but Fred Vasseur confirmed post race that he had floor damage, which
Mm.
is the standard excuse when everyone's slow.
Uh,
Because it's a
Yeah.
part of the car you can't see, so no one can verify it. But to be fair, how slow he was, I can believe it. Max goes on to a free stopper, whereas it looks like the McLarens are trying to stick with a two. So Max has the lead at a certain point in the race, but gets past fairly easily.
I'm glad they did the alternative strategy because otherwise it would have been really dry.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I think the two stopper is the way to go. But if anyone could pull it off, it's Mr. Verstappen. And so
yeah.
you still weren't when you're watching it. Not much is happening in the race, but you still weren't sure how it would play out at the end.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a little bit of intrigue there, wasn't there?
We need more. If we're not going to have straight on track fights, which we're not because there's pace differences between the cars that are unfortunate, then we need strategy to come back. So we need more two and three stop races.
Hmm.
One stoppers are dreary, so dreary. Um, so if we're not going to get the close action that we had of like 4 years ago, then we definitely need strategy races back. Alex Albon then loses another front wing, clashing with Liam Lawson. Lawson went up the inside of turn one, and Albon, when he was cutting back in, caught his rear wheel. He gets a penalty for it, or was that a previous
But
move?
why?
He got a penalty.
For what?
It was a previous move he got a penalty for
I
pushing Lawson
think
off at
so.
turn one.
Yes.
So he came at the pits to retire, got a penalty, and immediately went back round again.
Sorry, that's what he was saying on the radio. For what? And they wouldn't answer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he pushed Lawson wide at turn one.
I think so.
So fair enough. Um, driver of the season so far, Isaac Hadjar, something on a good race.
Yeah. He made some good little moves, didn't he? The one on Gasly was particularly nice.
Yeah, he's racy, he's quick, he's great. Get him in the Red Bull, it'll ruin his career.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You wouldn't want promoted, wouldn't you?
Mm.
And who are they going to sign next year? No, surely no one wants it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it depends, doesn't it? If Yuki comes good, which, as we say, there's no sign of it yet, but if he does suddenly find some form, then he puts himself in position to have it. If not, like you say, who is there? There's no clear person for it.
They'll have to put Lindblad in or bust.
the only thing you would say is that there are also new cars next year,
Hmm.
new design,
Yeah,
Activado, new engines. So I think someone would look at that and still see it as a fresh start, an opportunity. But if Max is 2 or 3 tenths ahead of you at the start of the season, the car's just going to get dialed more and more towards him.
Hmm.
And you know that that just ruins it for everyone else.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
must be so
tricky.
hard knowing that.
Yes, very tricky. The most of the action we're getting is midfield action, which is fairly decent. Liam Lawson, Ollie Bearman, bit of a dive bomb with Liam Lawson. Bearman, if
Yeah.
Bearman kept the position and got himself a penalty, didn't he?
Yes.
I
Which
don't
is
know what the rule is anymore.
no, it wasn't very consistent, was it?
No, no. We get the strategy starts to play out towards the end of the race. We end up with Lando Norris with Max Verstappen about a second and a half behind him. Max is on new softs, whereas Lando's on, I think, the mediums at that point.
I think so, yeah.
And they come across backmarkers who are having one hell of a fight. So
Yeah.
Liam Moss and Ollie Bearman are still fighting, and it's a brilliant, brilliant battle. But unfortunately, it's taken the front the leaders, which momentarily holds Lando up for the first part of the lap. Max sees an opportunity to get them past, and he then gets held up by Bearman.
It was very similar to what it was before they came across him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just played it all right. I can't blame the two guys for fighting.
Mm.
It comes back to Wendy as respect blue flags, and you don't. But so yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
they should be being told though, shouldn't they? They should know that there's someone behind them. But there's that thing of I think, oh, if I get past him, it doesn't concern me because I'm not the one they're going to come across first.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Uh, next up is at the safety car,
yeah,
I
pretty
think.
much.
So yeah, we're getting midfield battles, which is good. And then the race kind of turns itself on a safety car, which is brought out by Kimi Antonelli having a massive power failure, which sends him off into the gravel.
Yeah, and one of a series of not McLaren, Mercedes power unit failures at the moment as well, which must be a bit concerning for those teams.
Aye, they'll have the best one next year, so it'll be fine.
True.
So everyone pits again. So Max is then going on to another set of tires, which unfortunately doesn't have. He has the opportunity to stay on a set of used softs and inherit the lead, or go into new hards. And the
Yeah.
team decide to put him on the new hards, whereas everyone else is either on new softs or new mediums.
There was a bit of radio chatter that I saw, which was quite interesting, is that they didn't tell Max it would be hard. They said to him, "Do you want new tires?" And he said, "Yes, new tires would be a huge benefit." But at no point was hards mentioned in that. So
Yeah, it's
that
all he
was the
had
problem.
left.
Yeah,
So
Would it be better to stay out, do you think?
in hindsight, yes. But at the time, you're gonna pit, aren't you?
Yeah.
so he's got about 5 laps from the restart.
Well, also the restart
Yes.
faffing around there for quite a bit. And
Yeah.
this was the second thing. This happened in Imola as well, where it seemed like the track was clear for like a couple of laps before they went green again. Don't know what's going on with that.
Lapped cars overtaking.
Yeah, but they're
Yep.
very slow to do that call, I think.
Yes. I'm not saying it's good, but I think that was a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But would you fancy Max? I don't think he'd have won. I
Oh
don't,
no, I don't.
and I think he probably would have finished off the podium. But with the benefit of hindsight, probably worth a gamble, wasn't it?
I also think this is where it starts going a bit loopy.
Yes.
It starts getting angry at this point. Not the contacts
Yes.
we're going to talk about coming up, but
You can see him getting annoyed already with the back markers and then
yeah, the
finding
back
out he's on
markers
a
as well.
hard.
Hmm.
Yeah, good
So,
point.
yeah, the frustration's winding up. So we get a safety car. It's out for 5, 6 laps. There's almost a pile up as he turns out the lights because
Oh
Piastri
yes.
slams on the anchors,
Mm.
which luckily everyone reacted to. It goes quite early, keeps the lead. You're not allowed to pass until the start line, so he's got the lead quite happily. Max gets his line through the final corner wrong, goes across the exit curb and has an oversteer moment, which he saves miraculously.
Yes. That is a full code brown, that was.
Yeah, so that's it's a hell of a mistake, but it's a hell of a save at the same time. That allows Charles Leclerc to get alongside and then past him
And
just
driving to
as
the
he
side of
crosses the
him.
start line. And then he drives into the side of Max, which again, frustration. Um, he
The
wouldn't
team
be happy
radio is
with.
priceless. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants a position back. You're not
Yes.
getting it.
And the commentary slash punditry at all that time, it's all saying how Max moves over on him. And I'm like, no.
Yes.
I don't think anything was penalty worthy, but it's definitely Leclerc is the one moving.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
So,
think I think Crofty and Nico Rosberg were
oh,
both in an anti-Max mood at this point. So
Nico definitely was.
Max loses the position to Leclerc, and then George Russell sees an opportunity down into turn one to stick his car up the inside and try and take P3 or P4 at this point from Verstappen. Bit of a late lunge from George. He loses the car slightly as he's turning in, and he hits into the side of Max, which then sends Max across the exit. carbs across the runoff area, and he then keeps the position.
Hmm. I thought it was a bit
Yeah,
of an optimistic move from George, but there was space.
it definitely was. I think the move was on. He got down the inside, but yeah, he just overcooked it a little bit. So I think it's fair that Max keeps that place. I don't think there's a problem with the move itself, but yeah, it's just so weird that he's then asked to give that place back.
This is a big factor of this whole debacle because
Mm,
he's been asked to give it back when he's
yeah,
already annoyed, and I don't think he should have given it back.
No,
uh,
and the FIA agreed
Yeah.
yeah,
because post race they said that they weren't going to punish him. So Red Bull asking Max to give that position back was completely on their own accord and turned out to be a bit incorrect. One thing about George and his move, though, I don't know why he cuts so far right or left, depending on what way you look in the corner as he's going in. I don't know if it was just to get out the slipstream of Leclerc under braking, but he puts himself on a rubbish line going into the corner and then gets a
oh,
bit
yeah,
oversteer.
uh-huh,
So I don't know. I don't know if it was just trying to get away for the dirty air, but yeah, probably could have done that better.
yeah,
So Max is then instructed to let him past. He says he's not going to comply and then decides he is going to comply, maybe. So an exit of turn three,
four.
Repsol.
Repsol, the one that's got Louis Vuitton plastered over it. So exit at turn four, Max slows down, goes to the left of the track, and he's got the most damning onboard ever because he's just looking right towards
Yes,
his mounting mirror to see where George is.
Which the onboard wasn't part of the race, was it?
no,
No,
because they have six cameras on each car. I was reading on this, but on the broadcast they currently have the rear view camera selected.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can only see the views from the other cameras once the footage has been downloaded.
But it also wasn't in the F1 YouTube channel sort of main highlights of the race or
no,
the team radio bits as
Mhm.
well. But I
no.
have seen it because it was on social media.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think if you're watching on F1 TV
You
or
can
something like
switch.
that,
Yeah.
you can switch to any of the onboards. So I think
Mhm.
that's probably where someone pulled it from. But
Because even when F1 did a video specifically about it, just with that incident and the radio clips and interviews, it's not in that either.
but it is fairly damning because he slows
Oh,
down,
yeah.
he's looking right, he's looking right, he's looking right. George goes to go round outside of him and then he either lifts off the brake or just hits the throttle. Not sure which. Doesn't turn into the corner and smashes wheel on wheel into the side of Russell.
I didn't
Yeah.
Uh,
watch the Sky commentary. I was on the F1 World feed and the Channel 4 commentary, let's say. I don't know what Crofty and Rosberg said, but Julian Palmer was just straight to it. I really like his commentary, actually. And he was just like, well, that it has to be deliberate. I agree with that.
It's it's pretty much the same for Rosberg, but more in a much more antagonistic way. Where it's just this must be has to be a black flag now,
Ah, right, yes.
is what he kept saying, and that it's not on, which it isn't. But
Doesn't it remind you a little bit? I mean, it's not, no, when this incident I'm going to mention is nowhere near as bad as this one, I think. But when was it
mm,
Rosberg Hamilton at Red Bull Ring? And Rosberg just didn't turn in.
yep,
yeah,
yep, yep. Slightly.
uh,
Oh, the incident that Rosberg could pluck out his head that he thought it was best to reference was Valentino Rossi and was it Mark Marquez,
yeah,
Okay.
where Rossi deliberately took him out. Um, so that was the only thing he could think of. But he was adamant it was a black flag. And to be
mm,
fair, um, he, if you look at it, Max has deliberately slowed down and then sped up to deliberately crash into someone. If that isn't a disqualification, I don't know
yeah.
what is.
I
Stop go
kind of
penalty.
agree. I kind of agree. It should have been a black flag, but after the race, I think he should have been disqualified. But I still think you need to take time to analyze it. I'm not saying that he didn't do that, but you need to be sure that's what happened before you do that.
Yeah, because the stewards fairly quickly gave him a 10-second penalty in
Mhm.
race rather than waiting the 3 or 4 laps to investigate post race,
Yeah,
which they quite often do when something happens late on in an event. But they
it's
punished him immediately and it was a 10-second penalty, which is less severe than I think Vettel got when he deliberately hit into the side of
Hamilton in
Hamlin.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I
yes,
think he got a 10-second stop go.
and less severe than Russell for cutting a corner in Monaco and deliberately gaining a place.
I think. if they've decided to give a penalty, they've decided it's deliberate.
Mm,
So therefore, I do think it should have been stronger. But at the same time, I'm glad they acted decisively and quickly
yeah,
because that would have put a real cloud on things. It's just abhorrent behavior because it's motorsport is dangerous.
I think
Deliberately
it's
driving into someone is
yeah,
the worst thing you can do.
I do think as well that in the moment, it's very hard to say that he deliberately did that. Whereas in hindsight, once again, you can say he did, but you can always
Mm.
say, oh, he let him pass and then instantly decided to go for the move again and overcooked it and went into the side of him. I don't believe that, but you can make that argument. So,
And if you're going to make that argument, I'm sure Lewis Hamilton got a more severe penalty at Spa 2008
oh
or
yes.
2007, whatever one it was, where he did that to Raikkonen.
Do you
Yeah,
know that incident
the
still
fast lap.
angers me today because he let
Yes.
him through and then immediately overtook him again at La Source. I think
Hmm.
that's fine, isn't it? Still, I think that's fine.
Yeah, it still annoys me. It still really annoys me, that one.
Yeah,
So
Hmm.
I just can't believe he got away with a 10-second penalty.
Yeah.
Now, what he has got is an additional three penalty points, which means he's only
Mm.
1 point away from a race ban. And he's got two race weekends to get through until those are wiped off.
he'll be
So,
fine.
Yes,
He'll be fine.
he
He
should
can he
be,
can be
but
sensible. He got wound up in this race, didn't he?
I know. To be honest, what annoyed me more was his post-race interview when they said, "Was it deliberate?" And just the phrase, "Does it matter?" Not no or yes. It's just that kind of total dismissing of it. I don't like it.
I think it's more important to talk about the whole race or something like this. Yeah. Fair
yeah.
play to
Yeah,
the interviewee who was tasked with that job.
yeah. It was on the Sky coverage. It was Rachel Brooks.
Yes, and Channel 4 also uses that same interview. They
Hmm.
use the Sky interviews, so it was the same one. And yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. I mean, fair on the one thing you can say, fair play for answering, going to the interview pen,
Yeah.
but yeah, posting a semi. The comments are quite funny on Instagram. One of the most liked ones is ChatGPT. Please write an apology post for me because it's quite all the edges are filed off it. It doesn't feel heartfelt in any way.
Yeah.
And he hasn't said the word sorry, but a move was made that was bad or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. It shouldn't have happened. I think
Shouldn't
he
have
said
happened.
or something, but
Yeah, you were in control of that, mate.
yes.
I wish he would just get this part out of his drive. I know people say he needs it to make him great, but plenty of other people have won titles without driving like this. Lewis Hamilton got overtaken by Nico Hulkenberg.
I don't.
Oh, well, that was a brilliant move by Hulk, who had a brilliant race to get come home P6 on the track, and because of Max's penalty, P5.
Hmm. Get in there. That's got to
So
feel better
close.
than the nearly podiums that he's had.
Well, he's only 3.2 seconds off the podium.
Oh,
Mm.
oh,
I know.
I'd love to be in a world where he gets a podium.
Yes.
He's such a good driver.
Easy to forget that this year because he's in such a bad car.
Yeah, I would say here he had the Ferraris that was used tires, didn't he, in the final stint, and
Mhm.
he was on
Yeah.
fresh. He had fresh ones, probably by dint of being knocked out of qualifying early. But you have to make most of that. So that's why he got ahead of Hamilton. Although he's still out driving that car, even though that car updates. It's just a brilliant drive. Because
Mhm.
Bortoletto with the same car isn't doing that.
No, no. Bottle oil finished 12th, which,
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
fine for him. Elsewhere, it was a nightmare weekend for Williams. Albon
Oh,
retired. Like Sainz had wing damage. He went out Q1. Just horrible.
Mhm.
The Haasies had a shocker as well because of Behrman's penalty, and Ocon was generally rubbish. Do you see Kimi Kobayashi was driving a Haas last week?
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Bring him back. He,
Yes.
he must be like 48 now, but I don't care. I want him back.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he'd driven a Haas, and Nick informed me. I'm just trying to see his age now. He's 38, so he could come back.
Yes. 38.
I'm
Oh,
sure
bring
he
him
was older
back.
than that.
He is, and this is the other great thing about it. He's still active. He still races in WEC for Toyota, right, and Le Mans.
Hmm.
But he's also team principal, so he's a team principal driver. Love that.
Yeah. You don't ever hear of that. That's why I was so surprised when you said that earlier.
No,
Any more to cover for this race?
Um, I feel like there is, but I can't think of anything.
We've covered the main bits though, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after all that, there's only three drivers now without a point. Fernando Alonso got two in this one. So he's off the mark finally. He's 12 points behind his teammate though. Terrible.
Mm.
So there's three drivers
Sack
left.
him.
Bartoletto, sack him, get him out. Bartoletto, Doohan, and Colapinto. Um, are, all have 0 points. Jack Doohan
Mm.
might get a chance to score some later in the year. You never know.
He could replace Max.
Oh, how funny would it be if he gets a race ban? How funny!
Oh yeah.
And it's for the Red Bull ring,
Oh yes. I hadn't even thought of that.
and then Red Bull qualifying 19th and 20th.
I would say I hope he gets a ban because it would teach him a lesson, but it won't. So
I just want it for the funniness.
yes.
But anyway, hopefully he keeps his nose clean. So after all that, 10-point advantage for Oscar Piastri over Norris. He is now 49 points ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen costing himself, what was it, 5 positions
Yeah.
because of his petulance. McLaren have won the drivers, the Constructors' Championship.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Alpine now bottom because Sauber got some points, eh?
Aston Martin second bottom. Ferrari are second now. They are 6 ahead of Mercedes.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, the Ferraris felt like a worse car, but Antonelli's not been high in the points really at any point. So
Yeah. And Max is doing it all himself for Red Bull. So
yes, oh, Red Bull's 144 points. Max has got 137.
yeah. Oh, the other thing that you would have missed, Tom, during if you're not watching the Sky feed, is that obviously Nico Rosberg is wholly responsible for Antonelli's rise.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
I
yes,
didn't know
yes.
that. Thanks for
Yeah,
letting me know.
because he was in his karting team.
Yep, yep.
Oh, right, okay.
Mercedes were being cheap, so Rosberg put the money in for him,
Oh, right.
which is it's a Jason Plato-esque
It really
swerve
was.
in from the side, if
Humble
anyone
as
could do
ever.
it. Yep. So, all right, next up is the Canadian Grand Prix, my favorite track,
Yes, same.
and it'll be a snooze fest.
Oh
But
yes,
If it rains.
I hope it doesn't. Well, I can. I'm not going to Canada for another 2 weeks after, so it's fine. So yes, Canadian Grand Prix, 15th of June. Always good fun. And then we've got the Red Bull Ring after that. I always still want
Mm.
to say it's the A1 ring. And I don't know why.
Yes, I'm the same.
It's yeah, A1 died 20 years ago, but it's still in my head. You don't
I
like
did,
this track?
no, no, I do now. But in when it was A1 ring, I thought it was the most boring track on the calendar. Nothing ever happened there. And now, because we've
Mhm.
got all these other Tilkodromes, it's amazing.
Yeah,
So the Austrian Grand Prix is the last one of June. So I have 2 more to go. When's BTCC back?
This weekend.
this weekend.
Ooh, exciting.
So we're back for
Yeah,
another podcast.
Thruxton, I believe, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and we have a new driver,
We do.
Way!
The gentle
six
giant himself.
6 foot center.
Yes. Senna Proctor is back because Michael Crease made a mess of his drive.
Who?
Creasy!
Yeah.
And another bit of touring car news is that if you've missed it, Dan Robot and Mikey Dobo had a go at, was it Talker Race Driver?
Yep.
Yes, loved it. Go
Yeah.
watch it on their YouTube.
Yeah.
We live in
Great
an age
fun.
where BTC is doing in between race content.
Yes,
Cherish it.
Yes.
and we do
You
have one
never.
other move in the BTCC, didn't we? Which was Crease getting the T-boy position at Accelerate.
I can't believe that. It was like Michael Crease is going to be still part of the team. Doing what exactly? We're not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are. How far away the Canadian Grand Prix is? 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be back this weekend with BTCC and then back with Canada. Oh,
Oh,
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, I wanted to do that as well, but I resisted.
Yes, yes. Right. Thank you for downloading, listening, and we'll see you again next week. Keep an eye out for a mysterious BTCC episode dropping as well.
Can't wait for that one.
Yep.
I'm going to leave it till the end of the year and then just
Round
here's
three
one that you
review.
missed. Yes.
Well, which one was it, by the way?
There's a
Um,
Grand Prix in it as well, I think. I can't remember what it is now.
no,
Was it
no,
the
I think
was it the Brands
Stepper?
Hatch one?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was Brands Hatch Indy.
So if you leave it at the end of the year, you can do two Brands Hatchet together.
Yes, stitch them together.
Yeah.
Or just put that one out for the
Yes.
Grand Prix one and see if anyone notices.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Amazing.
ideal.
And
Right,
on
thank
that
you,
note,
gents, and we'll see you next week.
bye.
Yeah. Have a good one.
So, the controversial. Me.
That's staying
Scottish man died during a live podcast recording.
in.
So, a man died at the strippers 2 weeks ago in Glasgow.